Hello, my name is Jen.Neumeyer. I am one of the assistant principals at Willoughby South High School, and I work predominantly with our grades 9 and 10. Today, I'm going to take you on essentially our new student orientation. This slide deck we will go through is a combination of our 9th grade, our new student, and our family presentations combined. So you'll notice that some of our slides today are more for students and some are more for adults, but I hope that with this presentation combined, everyone viewing feels a little bit more at ease, and we can knock the rest off as we get started for a really great school year. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen with you and we'll go through those slides together. All right. Well, welcome Rebel families here at Willoughby South High School. We are really excited to get the 2021-22 school year underway. We do have some new faces, specifically Mr. Brian Patrick, our new building principal. He's coming to us most recently as the principal of SOI, our School of Innovation here in the district. He does pride himself on over 40 years of experience in our district, whether it was as a student, a teacher, or an administrative leader. And here at South, he's going to continue our efforts to work on respect, excellence, belief, effort, and leadership. Welcome, Mr. Patrick. In addition to myself, we also have Mr. Miller, our 11th and 12th grade assistant principal, and Mr. Tom.McKinnon, our new athletic director, who came to us as a previous assistant principal and simultaneously athletic director at his previous district. So welcome, Mr. Tom.McKinnon. Our school counseling team is comprised of Ms. Finnegan, who will help students and families with last names A through G, Mrs. Duffy with students last names H through O, and Ms. Joyce last names P through Z. Not pictured, we also have Natalie Burrell, our school-based psychologist, and our partnerships with Crossroads and our local police. We do have a school resource officer here nearly full-time, Mr. Chuck Popick. So I like to say, because it's true, that South is an amazing place. We have so many tools, resources, connections that at the end of 4 years here, 3 years or 2 years, wherever you're starting as a new student to South, you can truly engage in these tools, resources, and connections, and everyone can find success, whatever that is, defined for you, whether it's entering the work fields that you've been most interested in, whether it's joining the military, going off to college, or somewhere in between, or a hybrid of 2 or 3 of those. So if you use those tools, resources, and connections, you have everything here that you need to be successful. Now, also, as being a new student or a new family, we'd like to welcome you to the community. We do have the Rebel Way that we've already reviewed, but we also ask that you get involved and really help define the future that you want to be in this school, because you are part of the community. In fact, our freshman class alone is 1/4 of our community. And so 1/4 of our culture here is defined by your involvement and how you choose to make our school. We also take communication and responsibility very seriously. In high school, this is kind of that last jumping off point for students and families before students really have to go out and become self-sufficient. And so we really ask students to be a self-advocate and communicate with their teachers, their guidance counselors, principals, communicate with fellow students in a responsible manner, and really take ownership and responsibility of your own learning by using those tools, resources, and connections, getting involved, and really becoming part of our community. All of those things are expected behaviors. But one thing I do like to mention, especially to families and parents and guardians, is that not only is South an amazing place, but there's a transition that comes along with all these great things. So with an amazing place, a new place, there's many changes. Literally everything is new and different. You may know a few students, you may have some old friends, you may already have experience on a sports team or a club, but 3/4 of all the other kids are going to be new. Every teacher you have is going to be new. Every rule and expectation is going to be a little new. There is a transition here. And so going into this, knowing that there's a learning curve to high school, will help with that transition. We welcome you to the community, but of course, in joining a new community, there's social pressures and expectations, and there's going to be a lot to manage there and learn. What do teachers expect of you? What do upperclassmen expect of you? What does a new coach expect of you? And so again, just recognizing that that's going to be something to manage and balance will help bring awareness to that and ease the transition. And finally, that communication and responsibility part I already mentioned. This is a new level of ownership. And if we add up all of these new change transition pieces, that's a lot for a student to just be released into. So what I like to ask my families, my parents, my guardians, um, please don't just release your student into high school and say, good luck, there's your schedule, figure it out. Because these first 9 weeks are so key. They are so key to making all of these transition pieces successful and positive experiences. And everybody needs a little help in life. And this is one of those cases where every student is going to need a lot of support to make sure that they can navigate this transition successfully. So just a reminder, all of your principals, all of your guidance counselors, all of your teachers, every adult in this building is here to support you in this. The support from home is extremely helpful as well. And asking for that help and the adults understanding these transitions, those are all going to be key to making this a successful year. So the nuts and bolts. Let's talk about a typical high school day. So on a typical high school day, buses begin dropping students off at 6:50 in the morning. Some will come in around 6:55, 7 o'clock. But the building doors will open at 6:50 in the morning. Of course, if you're driving or being dropped off, you do not have to arrive that early. But breakfast will be served in our student union, which is the cafeteria. At 7:45, your classes will begin. We do have an 8-period day, and periods 4, 5, and 6 are the lunch periods. Now, periods 4 and 5, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders will be eating, and during 6th period, that is a freshman-only lunch, with the exception of about 15 to 20 students who are upperclassmen, and their schedule just does not allow for a 4th or a 5th period lunch. So don't be worried if you are an upperclassman and you have 6th period lunch on your schedule. We know you're not a freshman, and you are able to eat for the whole period. But 9th graders, you do have something a little special, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Each of our class periods is 45 minutes. You have 5 minutes between classes to navigate the hallways and get to your next class. It is ample time to go from one end of the building to the other, but you can't dilly-dally. You can't always meet up for 3-4 minutes in the middle of the building to talk to your friends and still make it on time. So you'll have classes that are closer where you'll have more free time, but when you do have 2 classes back to back that are further apart, just make sure that you kind of move with a purpose and communicate with your teachers if you are having a hard time getting to your next class. Our dismissal is at 2:20, and the buses leave about 2:26 or 2:27. So on the first few days of school, we will actually release students a little bit earlier, around 2:15, so that they have extra time to find their buses before the buses actually leave. But come next week, Monday, when we are in the full throes of school, dismissal would be at 2:20, and the buses pull out around 2:26 or 2:27. When you take a look at your schedule, you should be able to access it on Power School. You might notice a couple of things on there, specifically in green. If you have an S1 class, that is only semester 1, an S2 class is only semester 2. So initially here in August and September, you are only going to those S1 classes, but not the S2 classes. Likewise, all of the classes that say 21 to 22, that is the whole year. 9th graders, you will see a class that is either lunch/study hall or study hall/lunch. And during 6th period, you do those items in that order. So in this person's case, 6th period rolls around, they go to lunch first, they get 20 minutes to eat. There's approximately 3 minutes of passing time, and then they will be in a study hall. Those study halls are broken down into ninth grade only, and they're broken down by counselor so that our counselors can get into the ninth grade study halls during that 20 minutes on occasion to do mini lessons, talk with them, meet with them, and basically just kind of know where their ninth grade students are at all times during that sixth period in case they need to meet with anyone. So just a reiteration of breakfast and lunch, some of the most important parts of the day. Breakfast is available for about 50 minutes from 6:50 in the morning till 7:40. Obviously, if you try to grab breakfast at 7:40, you're going to have to grab and go because class starts at 7:45. Lunch, again, 10th and 11th and 12th graders, you will eat fourth or fifth period unless your schedule has prohibited that for some reason. You would then eat sixth. But all ninth grade students will eat sixth period for half of the period, and we'll have study hall the other half. And just one more time, remember, you go in order. So you do whatever it says first, you do the other half second. You will not fit in the study hall if you try to reverse it. Our study halls are almost always at close to capacity. So if half of your class just decides you want to up and switch, it will be evident. Make sure that you go in that order so that you are on the proper roster and you are there for your proper attendance. All right, student schedules. If you need a schedule change for any reason, for example, you look on your schedule and maybe you're just missing a second period class. You just have nothing there. It goes first period, then third period. Or if you would like to pick up an extra class, maybe you have too many study halls and you'd like to pick up an extra class. Those should be done very, very quickly because obviously you need a full schedule and you need to start your classes on time. So if that is the case, we need to move quickly. But if you are in a class where you feel like, you know what, this just isn't for me, I don't really want to take this, maybe you picked a world language, maybe you picked an elective that you just don't really care for, or it's not fitting, into your day like you thought it would. Maybe you just have too much homework and you're trying to play a sport, whatever the case may be. If you would like to change or drop a semester-long course, you have to drop it or change it by the fourth week of the course. And if you would like a schedule change on a year-long course, you must drop it or change it by the end of quarter one. We encourage all of our families and students to have these two logins locked down and understood, specifically PowerSchool, because PowerSchool is going to be your official attendance and grades. Schoology, we have used Schoology heavily when the school was remote last year during certain times. Many teachers will still use Schoology, and so you'll want to understand how to log into that as well. Schoology students, you should be able to get in through Clever. And if you're not sure how to use Clever, that is basically your one-stop shop for all logins for our students. So make sure you team up with an adult or another student that's familiar with it and know how to get into Clever. But PowerSchool, just one more time, is your official grade and attendance record. That is where your report cards will be released. Everything is pretty much digital on PowerSchool. Schoology is the most likely platform for online learning, or if teachers are going to post work. They may also choose to use Google Classroom or their own website, but these are the two specific things where you would need a login and you need to know how to use it. Lockers are only assigned to ninth graders. We do not assign lockers to grades 10 through 12. However, anyone may use a locker in the math and science hallways on a first come, first serve basis. So if you are in grade 11 and you really want to leave, your basketball shoes at school in a locker or whatnot, you can do that. Just make sure you find one that's unlocked, already in the math and science wing, or if it is currently locked, you'll know it's available by pressing Zephyr 1, 2, 3, 4 Zephyr, and it unlocks. Okay, so if you try that, that means it hasn't been claimed, it's just been locked over the summer by us. You can go ahead and claim it. Go ahead and lock it by pressing Zephyr, any 4 numbers you choose, and Zephyr again, and that will lock it up. Just remember your combination that you chose. Obviously, remember which locker number you chose, and it would be yours to use for the year. Ninth graders, yours have been assigned to you throughout the building, and those are posted here in the building when you first walk in. They are also given to all of your teachers digitally, so you can ask any teacher what your locker number was. It is not posted anywhere in Power School because it just doesn't play nicely with our list. But you can ask any administrator, any teacher, where your locker is, what your locker number is. It is posted on the papers when you first come into the building, and we are happy to help you find it, navigate it, and do the same thing here. So if it is currently locked, you should try Zephyr 1234 Zephyr. If that opens it, great, you're all set to go. If that doesn't open your assigned locker, then you would have to ask an administrator to come unlock it for you. And then, of course, just like all of them, to lock it, you press Zephyr, then any 4 numbers you choose, and Zephyr again, and that will lock it up. Electronic devices here in high school are treated slightly different than they are in middle school. We do allow them on campus, so you can bring your phone, you can bring your laptop or tablet. However, we are not responsible for lost, stolen, or damaged devices that you choose to bring on campus. So be sure to understand the risks there. Devices should be silenced and kept out of sight when you are in class, unless the teacher has asked you to get it out for learning purposes. Some of the most common things we see is they're on vibrate, and so you can still hear them when they vibrate against the table or against a chair or in a bag. We also see students who leave the flash on. So when it rings or vibrates, it's also flashing a strobe light of sorts. Those are all distractions, and you would be asked to turn that off. Also, earbuds, AirPods, all those fantastic things that go into the ear or over the ear, they are not allowed in class unless, again, you've been given permission by your teacher. We also ask that you take them out when you are talking with any adult. So you should have your headphones out when you walk up to an adult to have a conversation. If you come into the office to ask a question, if you're signing into the office because you're tardy or you're coming home or you're coming back from an appointment, all of those interactions with adults, we expect you to take those earbuds out. But if you just want to walk down the hall or sit in study hall, you can go ahead and put 1 or 2 of those earphones in. Just realize that if you're in the hall with 2 headphones in, you will not hear situations around you, which may not be the safest choice. Okay. And again, in study hall, you can use your headphones and your devices as long as they're not distracting or heard by others. We have lots of student activities, sports, and clubs here. I'll let you take a look at this slide for just a moment. If you're interested in any of these at all, feel free to reach out to your guidance counselor or a teacher to ask who might be in charge of it. We did have sign-up sheets during orientation, so there's lots of ways to get involved. Also, if you're ever interested in getting a group of friends together and starting a club or activity, just let your guidance counselor or your principal know, and we'll see how we can help. We love when our families can get involved. In fact, it's one of the strongest things we can do together to improve our students' experiences here. And so if you're interested in Rebel Families, band boosters, or athletic boosters, check the website first for contact information. Our Willoughby Eastlake South High website would be the first place to look for the most recent contact information and maybe meeting invitations. We tend to push those dates out as well in our newsletters. But it's a really great place and great way to get involved. They kind of filter the needs of the school to a very focused point so that each group can really make a big impact here. Specifically, I know that Rebel Families offers teacher grants and scholarships. They've hosted and put on the prom fashion show and after prom, and we couldn't do a lot of great things with our kids without these groups. So please, 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 if you're able at all, if you can join a meeting, take on a role, or donate or have an idea of a connection that would be helpful to any of these groups, reach out and get involved. So I mentioned that South is an amazing place, but it's only an amazing place if you're here. And so attendance is exceptionally important to me, to us, to the entire building. If you're not here, we miss you. If you're not here, you're missing school. And so please keep South an amazing place by being here every day and being on time. We do have the attendance phone numbers posted on our website. If you're going to be tardy or absent, make sure that someone is calling in so that it is excused to the best extent possible and you're getting here as soon as possible. We welcome you to the community. We hope that you are a positive influence and impact on our community. And remember that as part of a class, our 9th graders, our 10th graders, our 11th graders, and our 12th graders, each one is a quarter of our community. And so what you do and what your class does makes a big difference on who we are as a school. And finally, communication and responsibility is key. Please be a self-advocate, students. Please reach out to your teachers, to your guidance counselors, to your principal. It is an expected behavior. That is why we have jobs. That is why we are here, is to help students navigate this awesome 4 years of high school. So please reach out, do what you can do first, and always, always, always just be prepared for each day by being that self-advocate, asking when you need help before it's too late, asking when you need materials before you have to go without, asking for that schedule change before it's too late. Lots of asking to be done. It is all completely expected. So, education is a team sport. We can't do it without the students. We can't do it without the families. We can't do it without all the support of our excellent team here at South. And so we welcome you and we hope that you play a positive role on our team. Welcome to South.